Hello, hello. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Krista White. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Crow Canyon. We've got a great workshop planned for you today. We've got an overview of all the new NITRO features that have come out in the last month. And I'm joined today by James Restivo, our VP of Product Development and our resident NITRO guru. So he'll be leading us through these new features and how you can take advantage of them. But before we get into it, before I pass things over to him, just a reminder, these workshops, they're meant to be interactive. We want to hear from you. We want your questions. And actually, a lot of these subjects of these workshops are also sparked from you and your feedback. So any questions that you have, don't be shy. Go ahead and use that question box on the right side there. We're here for you and we want to hear from you. Also today will be kind of like an overview of all the new NITRO features. If you've got something super in-depth that you want to dive into about your specific organization and how you might set things up, we're here for you, of course. Always, you can contact support. And lastly, this will be recorded. So if you'd like to reference this later, we'll be uploading this to our YouTube channel as well as our website under resources. So you've got plenty of opportunities to listen to this. You can listen to it again and again and again if you'd like. All right, so that being said, I'd like to go ahead and introduce James. James, what do you have for us? What are all the new features?
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, we have some really great stuff coming down the line for NITRO that we've been working on over the last few months. If you've been on some of these workshops recently, it's all about UI. It's all about the user interface. And so we've done a lot of work on that front, and I'm going to show you some new things we've done in the user interface, some different options you have today. A lot of it informs our out-of-the-box application of the NITRO Help Desk with a few other things. But of course, it'd be applied to NITRO anywhere you're using it, and then also, if you're using one of our applications, you can apply similar concepts. So I took the liberty of using Sway. I've used it before, and it doesn't always. Sometimes it gets a little funky, and I didn't really play around with it a lot, so I apologize if the screens are looking funny, but I'll switch back and forth between this screen here, which is showing the Sway presentation, and the actual demo. So we kind of go through, kind of a toggle back and forth and those things. But again, yeah, like I said, it's mostly the things around the UI. There are some functionality things we did with custom actions and workflows with copying those. I'll show that when we get to it. But yeah, a lot of it is around the user interface. And one of the areas we did, that's a giant eye for the list view. One of the things we did was these tiles across the top for the list view. So it might seem like a relatively minor change, but I think it adds a really, exciting dimension to your pages where you're showing our Crow Canyon list view, or you're showing the NITRO list view of the list, whether it's a tickets list or any other list, purchase requests, or just other forms in general. If you're using it for InfoPath forms replacement, we've got now you have this option of the tiles. And I know a lot of things we've released somewhat recently have been mostly around the extended JSON settings. So you kind of have to go and figure out which setting it is and change it and toggle it. Like I've said before, we have some documentation around it, and we keep updating that documentation. But this one in particular, it's such a good improvement, I think, that we've gone ahead and created a whole new tab for it in the NITRO list view. So if you're on either on-prem or 365 and you've upgraded to the latest version, which is 2.5.22, I believe, for the on-prem folks. The online folks might have something a little newer, but we're not talking about any of that stuff today. We're talking about just what goes up to 2.5.22.0. And this is what you get. And this is what the screen looks like for the settings. And you'll see I highlighted here the tile settings, and this is what gives you that tiles look and feel. Now, what we're doing with the tiles, as you might imagine here, is it's similar to what you get with our link tiles, where you have a count of the number of items in a particular view. And we thought it'd be really useful to put that up at the top, so that when you're selecting a view, whether it's all open tickets view, unassigned tickets, any of these other views, overdue tickets, whatever it is, you've got that count right next to it of how many items meet that criteria. So whether it's a list of documents or a list of forms submitted, maybe you have certain forms that have certain statuses around them, or come from certain departments, maybe want a count of those forms from each department, you can create those views and point the list view web part to those views, get those views across the top like you're seeing here, and get this nice look and feel. So you'll see that the settings have, the how wide the tiles can go, what if there's a border around it, how big they are, so you can control that height. So if you look back at this, you can control how big that is, and that might be important based on the type of screen that you're coming into to look at it. You can put some spacing around it, kind of similar to the link tiles that we have. It's essentially taking that kind of like link tiles element and incorporating it, merging it with our list view element. So it gives you a little more flexibility. And then you can see you have some options for font size and text alignment, and things like that. So I think it's a really great addition. I think it makes it look a lot cleaner. Just to show you what it looks like on a page, we've got it over here with our NITRO Help Desk, our new NITRO Help Desk, where you have the these different ticket counts across the top. Now, if you want to see what it used to look like, and you probably see that today, but just to show you, see in our demo 7 help desk, and we did not have this option there. Let me look at all tickets view. So it's essentially the same kind of view as what you see here with the tabs across the top. We've just expanded each of these things to be a tile like that. So that's the big difference there. Again, it's all about the UI, all about the look and feel. I think that makes big difference when people are using this product, using our applications, or using NITRO. It's really important to give them a nice, friendly look and feel, a good UI that looks good. So, went from this to something like this, I think it makes a huge difference. Kind of a more subtle thing, you'll notice down the side here, we have circles. I think it's a subtle difference that makes a big difference. It's subtle, but it makes a big change, where you can select the circle. It's kind of more in line with what you see on most web pages today, is a circle radio button rather than a square. You'll see over here you got the squares. You can kind of see it's a little just a different feel to it, right? It just feels friendlier with the circles to me. But that's also a toggle option. You can choose to have squares if you want to keep the squares, or if you want to switch it over to the circles, you can switch it over to the circles. But I think both of those things show nicely and give you options, really, is what it's all about. It's about the different options you can have with the product and with our web parts. So we're going to talk about a couple of those things today. So that's with the list views, and if you followed along, I mean, there's a lot of other things you can do in here too, with the extended JSON settings and other changes you can make. I would certainly encourage you to play around with it, see what it looks like, and get something that looks good to you. You'll notice another element we added on here is you got that bar across the bottom. So when you click over to another list view, you got that bar right across the bottom. So it gives you, so you know where you are and which view you're looking at. So I thought that was a nice addition that we added to our list view web part. In a similar vein, we give you some options around the list search web part. So there's a little less going on here. So we really could only impact the header piece, and I think we've talked about the theme part of it as well. This image didn't show too well, unfortunately. Let me jump over to our demo site to show you what this looks like over here in our search tickets. So it's this web part. It could be pretty straightforward, kind of lightweight like this, or you can add more to it. And we've added a couple things. One of the things we've done in the past, I think I've shown on workshops in the past, is the ability to add a gradient or a theme back here. I actually really like the gradient. I think it looks nice. But you can also have a header at the top, and the big change here is that we allowed you to make some changes with the header. Now here's another version of that with the header at the top. So here on this page here, you can see there's the header, and we can play around with that. We have some settings now to change that header, and this is going to be over in those extended JSON settings, but they're pretty easy to find. You just scroll down to where it says header. You can see there's a border around it. Then if you scroll down a little further, there's a web part header, and that's where we're making our adjustments. So we can make that background color gray. We can make it font color of white. We can reverse that if we wanted to do a white background to a black font. Of course, this will take hexadecimal as well as the text of the colors. So if you wanted to do a hexadecimal specific color, like a particular kind of light blue or teal or orange or whatever it might be, you can put those hexadecimal values in these within these quotation marks. But if we save that, you'll see you have, it'll take one refresh of the page. Oh, actually it didn't. Okay, it took right away. So it changes from that gray to white to the white to black. So it gives you some, ways to manage what that looks like. The other area I was talking about before is this background gradient, and that you kind of use the word header a lot, unfortunately, so it does cause some confusion. But header, in this case, we're talking about this back here behind the search tickets box. And if we can change that gradient, I kind of like this color, to be honest. I'm not sure why. Just one of my things. So I like that. I'm going to copy that, put it over here, save that. Hopefully that'll work. Didn't look like that took very much of the gradient. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so you can do that. And so you can play around with it. Of course, now they've put some color around this, you might want to give a little more weight to that header or get rid of it entirely. To get rid of it entirely, all you need to do is blank out this web part title section in the web part settings. But otherwise, if you keep it there, you might want to give it a little more weight. And in this case, let's make it black with a white background, or gray with a, put it back to that gray with a white background. Gray, white. Actually, just make it black, see what that looks like. It's gonna be pretty contrasty, but that might be okay. You've been in my workshops before, I like to give it bold colors so you can really see the difference and see what we're playing with here. But you can give it some boldness like that. You can give it some subtlety. So again, we can come back in here and make that bold if we wanted to with the font weight. Let's go ahead and go down to here to font weights. Let's give it, I don't know, 5 pixel, I think will be good. Let's go ahead and try that. Let's see what that looks like. And maybe give it a little more weight. So I kind of have to play around with that and just give it some different settings to see what sticks, what looks good. Let's give it a 10 just to see if it gives it some kind of something. I think a 15 actually. See if that makes a difference. It might not, but we'll see. And it did make a difference, but that's okay. So that's the kind of thing you play around with those settings. If you know CSS or know JSON a little bit, you can play around with those things. Sure, there's tons of information on the web as well. But again, it's really about giving you options and how this looks. You'll see there's also this text here, which is something we can change in these settings as well. So if we come over here to our extended settings, it's right here at the top. And then it'll say, I change it to say results will show here. It says something else out of the box. I forget what it says. Oh, here it is. Enter text above to search items. That's what you get out of the box, but I went ahead and changed it over here to results will show here. So you can change that and have it show differently, like tickets will be below. Yeah, something like that. Kind of play around with it. Give you some different options. And let's see, for that one, I have to refresh it. Yeah, tickets will be below. So again, got some options there to change things around and make things look a little different. Yeah, we've done this web part. We've done that with our report web part. You can change the headers around. You can do it with the list view web part as well. Let's see, I think I had it over here, this list view web part. If you wanted to add a header on here, you could. I don't think the header is going to look very good with these tiles, but you could add a header in here and have similar options to move those things around or change the formatting and styling of that header if you wanted to add something in here. But I also think the important part is that we can remove it, and we can remove this command bar. We can, I've shown that in previous workshops. But just, really just about giving you more flexibility, more options for making the look and feel what you need it to be. So that's what we've done a lot of in the last several months. These are the most recent iterations of what we've done with the UI with our product and with the various web parts. But yeah, some of the other things we've done here, just to jump tracks a little bit, is some from the functionality side. We added some functionality here and there. Some of it's been pretty advanced, like kind of edge cases where people have come to us and said, oh, I want to be able to do this with a function, or I want to be able to do that with the function. So they're kind of like one-off unique scenarios with functions that we've supported and put into place. And if you've been the recipient of that, that's awesome. I'm glad we're able to do that for you. But for kind of a more general workshop like this, I haven't really dug into those too much. But one thing I think is going to be useful for you for using custom actions and for using NITRO workflows is this copy option, which you may have noticed. And if you use it, I think it makes it really easy to copy actions. And this did come from a request from a customer at some point in time. And we're finally able to implement it, where if you're using our designer workflow, now I don't think we have this for legacy, but if you're using our designer workflows or designer interface for custom actions or workflows, you have the option to copy. So instead of just the trash bin down here, you also have the copy option. And it's really just as simple as clicking that button, you get this view, or you get this image, and then you can place it where you want to place it on your workflow. Let's say I want to copy that update item action and do another different update item action on either maybe a different list or the same list. Doesn't give you some, it doesn't really give you a lot of options to change here, but that's if you wanted to create it from scratch, you could create it from scratch. And that is, but the copy action, you can see it's copy the predefined values that you might have had there. Any advanced items, any user input items have been copied as well, so that you can go and make adjustments as needed. And of course, you can always delete it. Now let's back out and show a different workflow. I'm not going to save anything. Maybe there's a custom action. It's a little more complicated. Let's give some minute to refresh. Actually, while that's refreshing, let me go over to workflows, because we did the same thing over here. And what we've done over here, same idea. You can see this one's a little more complicated. Let's say I wanted to copy the notification, notify requester on ticket creation. Maybe I want to make some modifications to the something about it, but have it also happen, one of these other flows down here, right? So we're going to send adaptive card, and then we're going to notify requester. I don't know. I mean, just kind of making up the scenario as we go here, but essentially you get the action that's copied over, and all those settings are there, right? So all those placeholders that you put in place, all those selections you already made, maybe some of the item link text is already there, the columns are already there. So you see, we've copied a lot of that action into the new action, and you just need to go through and give it your own, give it its own flavor, make it its own thing. And or if you just legitimately want to copy that action and have it do the exact same thing somewhere else in the same workflow or in the same custom action, like on a different branch or through a different gateway or in a different loop, you can do that. I'm actually trying to delete this. There we go. Okay. Now I got that deleted. But that way you don't have to like go and say, okay, now it's another send mail action, but it's got, has one minor change in it, and now I have to go through and create this whole send mail action and make sure I copy that, all the settings from the previous one, yada yada yada. You don't have to worry about that now. You can actually just go to your action, hit the copy button. You've got it. You can drag it where you want, put it wherever you want to put it. Obviously any of these things can be moved around as you go along if you wanted to, move it around, and then make it, make whatever minor adjustment is needed. Of course, I broke everything here. All right, let me go ahead and fix this again. It's simple enough to do that. All right, there we go. But yeah, so those are, the copy item action, I think is a great one for when you're building out your workflows and building out your custom actions. It makes it really, really easy to do that. Those are kind of the main things we've been working on with NITRO, with the UI piece of it, with this piece of the functionality. Here another thing I'll touch on real quick here, since we're talking about it, is in the report piece. Now, next week or 2 weeks from now, we're going to talk about reporting in more detail. So I won't go into it in excruciating detail today. But what I want to show you is that there are some more options with the reporting tool for your defaults, right? So if you have a theme, Hopefully you guys are using themes with our reports, and within those themes, you have the option to have colors pop up for your charts. You can define those colors, and what we've done now is actually given you more options for those colors. So instead of 10 options, you're going to have 20. And if this was going to come up, I would show you if I could. There it comes. Okay, good. And if we look at our manage report themes, we've also rolled out this Nitro gray theme sort of as a default. I think it looks pretty nice as a default theme that you can apply to one or more of your reports or all your reports. You see we've given you some more options here in the report tool for the panel, like when you put this report on a page. This is what we're talking about here with the panel. Give it some shadow, give it some border color. Is there a web part header? Again, we've looked at hiding these headers from a lot of our reports because I think they just look cleaner. And just give you an example of what that looks like when we hide that header. If we come over here to any of our reports, I think any of the reports on our dashboard pages here show what I'm talking about. Well, these have the header. So this is what the header looks like on that dashboard page in this particular iteration. But we've actually taken that another step further. And let me jump over to one of our, whoops, type too quickly there. A newest iteration of our Nitro help desk here. And I think we've applied that in our reports. So you pull them up. Yeah, I can see same report, same page. If I come back over here and go to that, let's see. So where is it? 7. Sure. Oh, that's 2023. Okay. Can I show what these different things look like here? All right, so on this tickets load page, you see you got these same 3 reports: open tickets by priority category, open tickets by category issue type, staff load. Okay, so we're on this tickets load page on the manager dashboard. If you look at it in our later iteration, which again, you could apply if you have something like this, you could apply these same concepts through the UI. It looks like this. So you see it's a little bit cleaner, a little bit nicer, and just not as, probably not as heavy. But that's what the difference is between having that header and not having that header. And one of the big differences here is that we need to put the caption on here, right? So if you're looking in our Nitro report tool on any one of the reports, let me duplicate this so I can come back to it. I'm going to duplicate this tab, cancel this, and open up a report definition. You have your chart description, chart position. Where is it? Yeah, I think it's really just like the chart description on there. And with the chart description on there, that's where that wording is coming from. So if we look at, let's say, I don't know, open and close tickets by week. Let me pull that one open. Let's see. Let's see. I can look for it this way. Open and close tickets by week. There we go. All right, so it's got a little more options: chart description, value. We're putting that. This is a multi-series report, so it's a little different. But you can, get that text at the top. So essentially, you're going to be able to get that on there to show what the report is actually showing. So you can see it's not going to be in the header, but it is going to be on the report. So it just gives you, that way you can still know what the report's about. Obviously, right? Got a caption on it, so you can see what it is. But yeah, some different options with the UI. You can see we got rid of all those other icons below it as well. If we could look back at where was it? Over here. You got all these icons. So, different, just kind of a different look and feel. Like it just makes it a little cleaner, makes it a little easier to use. A little easier on the eyes, I guess you could say. So that is another one of those changes we've done with our reporting tool and with our web parts in general. And so if you look at some of our other web parts, you're going to see similar features, similar functions where you can hide the web part header, do some different things with the color schemes. We continue to add those features, add those things into it to make it look a little nicer, maybe have some more modern options for these reports, for these web parts, for the forms, for the workflows, for the list view, for the list search, etc. So things like that. Yeah, and there's a few other minor things we released with our latest version log, and you take a look at what else is out there. But yeah, those are kind of the main things we've done in the last month or so with our NITRO tool for the UI aspect of it to make it look a little cleaner, a little lighter. And to answer one of the questions that was asked in the chat, there was a question about what version are these released in. So as I mentioned at the beginning, all these changes should be there if you have version 2.5.22.0. So 2.5.22.0, which is the latest we've put out there for the on-premises world. We're a little bit further ahead with the online, but not that much further, and everything I showed you today should be there for the on-premises world as well, with the modern UI web parts. But yeah, let's see if there's any other questions. I think someone else had. Let's see, looks like, Nate, did you have a question? You want to pop it into the box? See, your hand is raised. I don't know if that was. My mistake. All right. All right, we'll see if Nate pops that into the box, into the question box. But yeah, all right. I think that was pretty much it. What I wanted to show today for the new releases. We've got a lot of great things coming down the line for other features. Of using our help desk, we're going to be looking at a full-fledged Teams app that's going to be a lot more robust than what we have with our NITRO bot. NITRO bot is great, but their NITRO Engage bot is great, but it has some more things in it that you're going to get out of it. Oh, yeah, someone noticed the Copilot. Thank you for noticing the Copilot. Let me dig into that a little bit, because that's one of the things we're working on with the AI integration, AI aspect of it. I did show this in a workshop last week. It didn't work out too well, so hopefully this will work today. But you can do things like, even as simple as like, how do I reset the cache in my browser? All right. So go ahead and ask that question. All right, so while that's coming up, let me just talk a little bit about this Copilot. And this is where, if you're haven't seen a lot of big changes with NITRO, this is why. I mean, we've been doing a lot of work around this AI integration, open AI integration with the Copilot. We've been looking at ways that we could even have this available for our users with the our knowledge base, our help desk, our .help site, so that you guys can go and ask questions and interact with it and get really live real-time answers from that knowledge base, similar to what you get if you go to like Bing Chat or go to OpenAI. So we're leveraging that Azure OpenAI integration quite a bit into our latest versions of the help desk, so that you can get that benefit from it. So if you wanted to say, tell me how to do this with Edge, and, it's got that contextual aspect of it too. So it's, you don't have to go back and reset. Okay, ask all the same question. Okay, I'm talking about my browser cache reset. And it just asks it tell me how to do this with Edge, and it tells you how to do it. There's a little bit of bugginess with the links that come back, but these would be links to your internal knowledge base. Essentially, that would be whatever the AI thinks is the most appropriate knowledge base articles for you. But yeah, this is a world we're delving into more deeply with this AI integration, where it can get a lot more real-time help and have that available for, also for your end users. If you're using our NITRO help desk, You've got, and using our Teams app, you'll have this embedded in there. You'll be able to connect into this OpenAI, and it's just about setting up the database, right? So it's about connecting it to the correct resource materials, whatever those might be. If it's your internal knowledge base, or if it's got to be something from the web, you can do that. You can see this is actually looking at the web as well, because we don't have anything about caching, resetting cache in our knowledge base or in our .help site, but this is going out to the web and pulling in information about that. So really the idea is that it's focused on knowledge within your organization or within your help desk that can then be leveraged for use with your end users. So look forward to more about that. We'll definitely be talking about this a lot as we go forward. So there'll be a lot more opportunities to learn more about what's going on here. And we did have a question about asset management. Okay. So asset management, we haven't done anything really new with it in a sense, but we do have our full-fledged asset management solution, which is tied into our help desk, that has features such as tracking of locations of assets, who owns them. It could be hardware assets, it could be software assets. You can track financials around these assets. You can tie them back to tickets. So if you're interested in learning more about our asset management tool, certainly let us know. We can set up a one-on-one demo so we can talk more about your asset management needs and what you're dealing with there. But yeah, that's like I said, nothing particularly new here other than the look and feel and improved UI that we're applying across the board for our applications, using the leveraging what we've built with NITRO for that purpose. So yeah, that's great. So I think that pretty much covers what I want to cover today. I appreciate everyone for joining, and there will be a survey afterwards if you want to have a particular topic in mind that you want us to cover. We do look at that. I did notice a couple people were asking about reporting in the last few workshops. They wanted to know about reporting, so we're going to have a workshop on reporting next week or 2 weeks. And if there's anything like that you want to see, that you want us to cover, then go ahead and answer that survey. Let us know, and we'll be happy to put that on our schedule as something to talk about in the future. But as always, you can reach out to us or me or Krista and ask any questions you have at any point in time. But yeah, with that, Krista, what do you think? Any other questions? Anything else?
That was great. I'm really excited about the new UI, and I think it's going to make the user experience just a lot more friendly and streamlined and just kind of easier to navigate. So hope everyone else enjoyed it as much as I did. Appreciate you sharing all this with us today, James.
Sure, happy to do so.
Yeah, and we're definitely looking forward to the next workshop. Like James said, keep the feedback coming, keep the requests coming, because these workshops are really driven by you, the users. So we want to know what you want. We want to know what you want to see. And that's what we'll focus on.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Krista. I appreciate it. And thanks everyone for joining today.
Thanks so much.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.